Thank you for viewing the TIA allotment verification training. This specific training is for cohorts A through C districts that have successfully issued designations for the 21-22 school year. TEA will host allotment verification office hours on May 4th from 3 to 5 p.m. A registration link is included in this slide deck. Resources from this session can be found at our website, tiatexas.org/resources. These include the session slide deck, our guide to verifying designations and allotments, the allotment confirmation attestations, this pre-recorded webinar, and spending plan resources. The objectives for our live session is to teach districts how to access and view information in SCOMs, verify their designation and allotment data against district records, learn how to dispute designation and allotment outcomes, and finally confirm their allotment. A quick TIA refresh on the mechanics, timelines, and teacher eligibility. The goals for the teacher incentive allotment are to help districts reward, retain, and recruit great teachers. The allotment verification process will finalize district allotments and allow you to compensate highly effective teachers. Let's take a look at the designation and allotment timeline. In February and March, districts completed the class roster winter submission. They also verified if designated teachers met or will have met the creditable year of service by the end of the 21-22 school year. In April, TEA will verify designated teacher placement and eligibility using the class roster winter submission data. Allotments will be calculated using each designated teacher's campus of employment at the time of class roster winter submission. By April 28th, districts should identify all eligible teachers for allotment verification. In May, districts will confirm or dispute their allotments in SCOMs by May 5th. They will attend allotment verification office hours if needed on May 4th. Any district with a dispute that requires reprocessing must confirm their final allotment by May 16th. New designations will be awarded in mid-May, and by the end of May, TEA will notify designated teachers of if their new designation and allotment generated for their district. By the end of May, TEA will also have a designated teacher public search available on the TIA website. By August 31st, districts must spend all scheduled allotment funds, not including fees, and in September, the Year 1 allotment funding will arrive for newly approved districts. It will show as line 30 on the district SOF report, and thereafter there will be continued funding for 22-23 based on projections from this current school year. We'll now take another look at the eligibility requirements. For teachers who were put forth for designation this year and submitted by approved districts in fall of 21, they must still be employed with the district as of February 25th. They must also still be employed as a teacher, which means a 087 roll ID, and meet the creditable year of service requirement. Our next slide will go into detail on the creditable year of service. If your district employs a National Board Certified teacher who is newly certified, this designation will be awarded automatically by TEA if they meet the following requirements. If they're employed as a Texas public school teacher with a 087 roll ID, have an active National Board certificate, and are listed in the National Board Certified Teacher Directory as employed in Texas by January 31st, 2022. Any National Board teachers who are still listed as out of state will not receive a designation or generate an allotment for this school year. Once a designation is earned, the eligibility to generate an annual allotment requires an active designation, either awarded in the same school year or a previous school year. They must still be employed as a Texas public school teacher in a 087 roll ID and meet the creditable year of service requirement. Now we'll take a closer look at the definition for creditable year of service. In order for teachers to earn a new designation through a local system or to generate an annual allotment once designated, teachers must be employed and compensated for a creditable year of service in a teaching role, or will be employed and compensated for a creditable year of service by the end of the school year. We define a teaching role as a 087 roll ID. Creditable year of service is 50% or more of the day in a teaching role for a minimum of 180 days, or 100% of the day for a minimum of 90 days, or the equivalent of one semester. If you're uncertain, take a look at paid contract days. These include providing instruction, professional development or staff days, and paid leave, including sick leave, military leave, or paid FMLA leave. TIA eligibility, including the roll ID and year of service, is determined using data from the class roster winter submission. This year's snapshot date was February 25th. Districts should have assigned each designated teacher a teacher incentive allotment designation code and a yes/no indicator for the creditable year of service. TEA also provided an option to report non-teachers of record using the Teacher School Association and the option to report teachers as centrally assigned using the CDN plus 999 for the campus code. One common question we get is regarding teacher movement. So what if a teacher resigned or retired after the February 25th class roster snapshot date? Or what if a designated teacher or NBCT moved into the district after the fall PEIMS snapshot? The response is if a teacher met the eligibility criteria and was reported in the class roster winter submission, they will generate an allotment for the district that employed them on February 25th. If a teacher is no longer with the district must determine how to spend the funds in compliance with statute. Spending resources are linked in the initial slide of this presentation. Now we'll take a look at SCOMS. This is the Strategic Compensation Operations Management System. SCOMS is an application that can be accessed through TEAL. It allows districts to view, sort, filter, and export their historical allotment data, including fees. For Cohort A through C districts with an approved local designation system, SCOMS will maintain a record of their annual designation submissions and outcomes. Districts will annually verify designation outcomes and allotment values in SCOMS, and if needed, they can dispute designation outcomes and allotment values through the SCOMS system. To request access to SCOMS, first sign in to your TEAL account. To create a new account, please visit the link provided. Then you'll click My Application Accounts, request a new account, and select SCOMS from the application IDs. Click Add Access and type in your district for the employing organization. You'll then select the LEA representative role and notify your district TEAL approver if needed. If you're not sure who your LEA approver is, or you're not having your account approved, please email tia@tea.texas.gov. When you first log into SCOMS, you'll see a homepage like this. There will be a place for designations, payout, and LEA details, and we'll work through each of these screens. The LEA details page, for districts not participating in TIA, we recommend this is a human resources or business office point of contact. For participating districts, this should be your TIA points of contact that you have on file at TEA. It will show your district ID, name, region, rural flag, and system approval status and expiry date. If you'd like to add or remove points of contact for SCOMS, please email our team at tia@tea.texas.gov. The Teacher Designations page will display designations submitted each school year and the designation outcomes. It will include the teacher name and unique ID, the level of designation and expiry date, and the current designation status. So if it's approved, that means the designation was approved and is now active. If it's rejected, that means the designation was not approved. Please note that you should not see effective or expiry dates for rejected designations. You may also export any data from this page to Excel. On the SCOMS landing page, if you click Payout, it will take you to this Payout page. This displays the allotment by school year, by teacher, and by campus. There is also a tab for no-pay teachers. These are teachers who were reported in the class roster winter submission who did not meet the creditable year of service. Please note, the no-pay teachers tab will only show teachers who were reported in class roster winter submission. It will not show other designated teachers who may be working in the district. On the total by school year, this should match the district's summary of finance report. You may export data from any of these options to Excel. Also note that during our annual processing of designations and allotments, you will see an option to confirm or dispute your annual allotment. If your district has fees, you may click on the fee value on the Payout Total by School Year page. This will show you details for any fee reimbursement. Designated teacher fees apply only to districts that have issued designations under their local designation system. Fees in approved status will be reimbursed in September settle-up. Fees in received status will be held in escrow. These apply if a district's designations or system was not approved for that school year. National Board certification fees apply to districts who have requested reimbursement of fees for eligible NBCTs in their district. Most districts not participating in TIA will have $0 in approved fee reimbursement. Now we'll look at verifying designations and allotments in SCOMS. Prior to confirming allotments, we ask that districts verify all allotment values, including fees. Districts issuing designations in 21-22, please verify that the designated teacher fees paid to TEA matches the fee value in approved status. These are all fees that will be reimbursed. If any fees are in received status, that indicates they will be held in escrow. These should also match the amount paid to TEA in fall 21. Districts that submitted a request for national board fee reimbursement, please verify that the fee data reflects the total requested on the fee reimbursement application. If there are any discrepancies, please email our team at tia@tea.texas.gov. The second piece of pre-work prior to confirming the allotment is to verify eligible teachers. So before confirming any designations and allotments, we ask that districts review local records of all teachers who were submitted for designation in the fall, teachers with an existing designation that was issued by the district, teachers with an existing designation perhaps either issued by another LEA or earned as a National Board Certified Teacher, or National Board Certified teachers who do not yet have a designation. So once identifying all of those teachers, we encourage you to have some type of district tracker, and we'll show an example of that in just a moment. Districts may also check for any designated teachers who may have been hired after October 25th. You can run an ECO certification report, and the instructions are linked here to check for designated teachers. So once all of those are done, please create a district tracking document with all teachers who are potentially eligible for designation or allotment. Here's a sample tracking document. We've included the teacher's first and last names, their unique ID, which is a 10-digit unique identifier through the TSDS Unique ID application, their CDCN, campus, roll ID as of fall PEIMS, the year of service, and whether or not they should be TIA eligible. And remember back to our eligibility rules, if they're in an 087 roll for a year of service, they should be eligible for designation or allotment. Some additional fields to consider adding in your local tracker are the source of the designation. So are they a national board teacher? Was the designation district issued, or was it issued by another district? You may also include the level of designation, a local identifier, and any district notes. So in this example we provided, we have a couple of teachers who are not allotment eligible. Grace is a principal teacher split. She did not complete the year of service, and so the district is making a note here that she is not eligible for TIA, that she was a principal as of class roster. Lyra is also not eligible. She resigned on January 20th, so she should not appear, both of these teachers should not appear on the allotment report. So this is kind of the pre-work that districts can do, so when they go in and view their allotment data, they can determine if it's accurate. So for cohort A through C districts, on the designations page, that will display designations that were put forth by the district for a given school year. Designations should be in one of two statuses. If it's in approved status, that means the designation was approved, that teacher met the eligibility criteria, the designation is active, and it will generate an allotment for the same school year. If the designation was rejected, that means the teacher did not meet eligibility criteria. The designation was not approved, and it will not generate an allotment. The reasons that teachers may land in rejected designation status: either they were not reported in the class roster winter submission, maybe they were reported in a different district, so if they left your district before the class roster winter submission, they will not qualify for designation. They may have been reported with the roll ID other than 087, or most commonly, they were not coded to have met the creditable year of service requirement. And in rare cases, the educator may have a sanctioned certificate or be listed in the Do Not Hire registry, and if that's the case, they will not earn their designation. Here is an example of the designations page. So we'll go back to that district tracker in just a moment, but here is how that would play out if the district was looking at the designation page. Please note it has the school year, unique ID, first and last name, level of designation, the status, and the effective and expiry date. Designations in rejective status should not have an effective or expiry date. And then you also have the option to export all of this information into Excel. Once exported, here's an example of how this will look. So it's the same data, just exported into a more usable format. We also have the payout by teacher page. This is where you can look at the allotment generated by each teacher at their campuses. Teachers with a rejected designation will not appear on the payout report or with the no pay teachers. A few notes about the payout by teacher field or column headers. The source will tell you how the active designation was earned. If it says TTU, that means that it was earned through a local designation system, either through the district's local designation system or another district if they are moving in. NB means they are a National Board Certified teacher and earn their designation through that route. If a teacher has more than one eligible campus, please note that there will be one line of data per campus. So multi-campus teachers will appear more than once on the payout report with one line of data per campus. The campus allotment will be the allotment value for the campus divided by the number of eligible campuses. And the total allotment will be the sum of those partial campus allotments. So if you have a teacher on more than one eligible campus, there is a field that will state number of eligible campuses. It will tell you how many campuses they were reported at, and the district must add those campus allotments after exporting the total allotment data. Here's an example of the exported payout data simulating Excel. So we have the source, TTU, the teacher first name, last name, unique ID, the district CDN, name, campus ID, campus name. Please note that all of these teachers in the example were reported at one eligible campus. If there were multiple campuses, we would see more than one line of data for those teachers. Has their teacher designation level, the expiry date, and the payout amount. One more reference to no-pay teachers. So again, these were reported in winter class roster, but did not generate an allotment. The most common reasons, either they were coded as 047 and not as 087. Given that this is the first year that districts used a TIA designation code or year of service, it's possible that there were some oversights with the PEMS coordinators and maybe they were not given the creditable year of service. But those will show up on your payout no-pay teachers. Very important to check that tab and make sure that all of those teachers that should have been eligible are in the payout by teacher page and not the no-pay teachers. So the final part, verifying your 21-22 designations and allotments. So the goal is that you view the outcomes in SCOMS based on the winter roster data and confirm that all of your designation results and allotment values are accurate. So before confirming the allotment, we ask that you first export the teacher designation data and payout by teacher data and compare that data to your local tracking document. So the key look-fors are all eligible teachers who were submitted for a new designation listed in an approved status. And are there any teachers in approved status who should not be eligible? So if a teacher left your district in January and they are showing an approved status, that should not be. We'll talk about what to do if the information is incorrect. Are there any teachers in rejected status who should be eligible? Are any teachers missing from the designation list? Did all eligible teachers, both new and existing designations, generate an allotment? And was the correct campus or campuses reported for all eligible teachers? These are the things to look through as you're comparing your district tracker to the values in SCOMS. If any discrepancies are found, don't email TEA just yet. Please make notes in your district tracking document. So here's an example. We have kind of the same group of teachers. Notice that they are all TIA team members who have returned to teaching. So on your LEA tracking document, note we're comparing what we had originally with the SCOMS outcome. So it looks like we had a designation that was approved for a principal. They should not have a designation. They were not an 087. The person who was not eligible looks like they did not generate an allotment. Everything is just fine. They won't need to dispute that information. Then we have a teacher who serves at 2 schools and only one appeared in SCOMS. So we need to add a second campus to reflect that teacher's campuses of employment. Otherwise, everything looks correct. There's no notes required other than these 2 teachers. So now we'll look at submitting disputes. If everything in your allotment data looks accurate, there's no need for a dispute, and you'll move straight ahead to confirm. However, if you catch any discrepancies in your local records and SCOMS data, you will need to submit a dispute. So a dispute is a request for manual error resolution of inaccurate teacher level data. So errors or inaccuracies in the winter class roster may impact teacher eligibility, their designation, and their allotment values. So our team will resolve all of the district's disputes in SCOMS with no impact on the TSDS data. So any changes made to roll IDs, to campuses, those will only live in SCOMS. They will not be reported back to TSDS. Disputes must be entered by May 5th, and TEA will work to resolve all disputes by May 16th. The district may be asked to provide supporting documentation for the dispute, such as HR records, payroll data, or a master schedule. And these are most commonly requested if a teacher did not appear in the allotment report at all, and the district is advocating that they are a teacher. Again, if you have any disputes on fee amounts, please email our inbox at tia@tea.texas.gov. So now we'll walk you through how to submit it. So there are 3 major reasons to submit a dispute. You may submit a dispute if first, the winter class roster data does not reflect the correct campus of employment. This can happen if a teacher is centrally assigned. Perhaps they're coming in SCOMs and it shows they're working at 10 to 12 campuses, but they're a centrally assigned teacher. We can correct that if a dispute is entered. Sometimes teachers have students coming from several campuses to the home campus, and it might appear in SCOMs as if the teacher is split campus when actually they should just be linked to one campus. We can resolve that if a dispute is submitted. Most commonly, an eligible teacher may not have generated an allotment or earned a designation because they were not reported correctly in the class roster winter submission. They may have been reported without a designation code or not marked yes for creditable year of service, or perhaps they were reported with a roll ID not 087. The third reason is if a teacher generated an allotment that eventually did not meet the creditable year of service in a teacher role. So if a teacher was part-time as of winter roster, and maybe they resigned afterward and didn't meet that creditable year of service, we can make adjustments for that through a dispute. So to submit a dispute, you'll go to the Payout Total by School Year screen, and you'll see that there is a green button and a red button. A green means all systems go, all data is correct, you're ready to confirm. If any data is incorrect, you'll want to click the red dispute button. So you'll click dispute to view a dispute, add a dispute, edit, or delete disputes, and it will take you to the disputes page. So this will keep a running list of any disputes that were submitted by the district. Note there's an option to delete all disputes, to add a dispute detail, and then individually you can enter disputes, and I'll show you in just a moment on the next page how to do that. But you can individually enter these, and remember we're correcting teacher level data, and then once entered you can edit or delete them. And this can also be exported for your records. Let's take a look at the different dispute categories. So once you select add a dispute, you'll have to choose a category. This could be a teacher was missing from the report, they were not employed in a teaching role and need to be determined ineligible in SCOMs. You might need to change their year of service indicator to yes to no or no to yes, correct their campus, and then there are always some other circumstances that we may not have anticipated, and you can use that other category if needed. So adding a dispute, you can click Add Dispute, and you'll do these at the teacher level. Please ensure that you have each teacher's unique ID handy. Again, that's the 10-digit TSDS unique ID number for each teacher. You'll want to have their unique ID, their first and last name, the category of the dispute, and then notes. So you'll click Add Dispute Detail, select the category, you'll enter all of the requested details, and then click Add. You'll review the dispute details on the main disputes page, and by then you can edit or delete it if you need to. So again, you won't submit one long dispute with everything that needs to be corrected. You'll submit disputes by teacher, so we'll correct that teacher's individual data. So here's a sample dispute. I'm adding a dispute for Cody. We need to change his year of service indicator. So I put in his 10-digit unique ID, his name, selected change year of service indicator, and then there will be directions specific to the category. So TEA, we request different levels of information depending on the change that needs to be made. So here I have a note that the teacher resigned on March 1st and did not meet the year of service prior to resigning. So they should not have been eligible. SCOMs may have generated an allotment based on inaccurate year of service data. So required information to have handy, the reason or category, the 10-digit unique ID. If they are missing from the allotment report, we will also request their date of birth. Please note that. You'll want their campus CDCNs, their roll ID, which should be 087 if they're eligible, and the creditable year of service of yes, no. The level of detail in the notes may be required just depending on the selected reason. And please note that if we are adding a teacher to the allotment report, our team may email you asking you for more information. So after adding a dispute, we ask districts to export the dispute data for the next phase of verification. So you'll need to go back and make sure that all disputes were resolved once we process those. So our team will process disputes between May 6th and May 10th. And then if you had no disputes, your designation outcomes and allotment values can be considered final once you've confirmed. TEA will notify districts via email once the disputes are resolved. You'll also see in your disputes page that TEA will add comments so that you have a record of your dispute history. By May 16th, districts must repeat the allotment verification process after the dispute is resolved before confirming the allotment. Final step, so if you are a district that has no disputes, maybe you just have a few designated teachers, everything looks accurate, you can jump right ahead and begin confirming your. So if your district had no disputes, you are ready to confirm. And prior to confirmation, you'll want to triple check that all eligible teachers who were submitted for new designation are present on the designations page and in approved status. So this is, again, cohort A through C who have issued new designations this year. You'll want to make sure that all eligible teachers generated an allotment. So not just new designations, but if you employ any other teachers with a designation or national board teachers and they were eligible, check that they generated an allotment. You want to make sure that all eligible teachers were reported at the correct campus or campuses, that your fee data is accurate, and that all disputes are resolved if you submitted a dispute. We also have a series of attestations. You will not submit these to TEA. We will collect your signature via confirming in SCOMS. So you'll review the attestations with relevant departments. Please maintain a local record that your superintendent has signed off. The attestations can be found at our website, tiatexas.org/attestations. To confirm your final allotment, you'll start at the home page for payout, where it's payout by school year, and you will see the red dispute button and the green confirm button. Once all disputes are resolved, or if you had no disputes, you can click that green confirm button. There will be a pop-up legal disclaimer, and this confirms that whoever is clicking confirm, if not the superintendent, has been granted authority by the superintendent to confirm allotment funds and agree to the attestations. You're also confirming that the district has reviewed and verified each teacher designation and allotment. We want these to be final. And then the district has reviewed the list of attestations and agrees to all. So clicking confirm a second time, that will serve as the district signature, and that will set your allotment in stone. That is the amount that will go to our FSP team. Please do not submit any signed attestations to TEA. Once all allotments are confirmed, you can ensure that your payout by school year page on the total by school year will match your district summary of finance report. So after the September settle-up process, the final SOF report should match the payout by school year in SCOMS when you add in the approved fees. So total allotment plus total fees should match line 30 in your SOF report starting in. Now let's close out by taking a look at your district's next steps and key dates. So by May 4th, we ask that districts have verified all designations and allotments. That involves creating a district tracker for teachers with existing and pending designations, verifying all teacher eligibility, so were they employed by the district in a 087 role ID for a creditable year of service, yes or no, verify their campuses of employment for all eligible teachers. Then you'll export your designation and payout data from SCOMS and compare it to the district tracker. If needed, if there's any discrepancies, you'll submit a dispute at teacher level and then review attestations and obtain a local record with the superintendent's signature. On May 4th, you can attend allotment verification office hours if needed, come with questions or concerns or any issues you're having with confirming or disputing. May 5th will be the deadline to confirm or dispute your allotment. May 16th will be the deadline to reconfirm the allotment if you had a dispute that required adjustments to your allotment amount. Then by May 26th, we ask that you communicate with all designated teachers the allotment they generated for the district and the district spending plan and timeline for payout. And just some dates for awareness. So May 27th, our public designated teacher search will be available on the TIA website, and it will allow designated teachers to view and print a virtual certificate of designation. We will also notify designated teachers who generated an allotment via their ECOS email address. So they'll receive their designated teacher ID, their district and campus of employment, the amount they generated for the district, and statutory spending requirements. So we encourage districts to communicate with teachers prior to receiving this email. Make sure they understand your spending plan and the percentage that they will receive if they have not already been paid, and then the date that they will receive that funding. If you have any teachers that have resigned prior to your payout date, we strongly encourage you to reach out to them via their forwarding address and notify them of your plan for allotment funds. Any inquiries that we receive through our inbox from teachers, we will be forwarding directly to the district. By August 31st, that's the deadline to spend your 21-22 allotment. Just a reminder that 90% or more of the funds must be spent on teacher compensation on the campus where the designated teacher works or worked. Up to 10% may be withheld by the district for any costs directly associated with TIA or supporting teachers in earning designations. We've also linked our spending resources, FAQ, and best practices. And then by September, the allotment will be reflected in your summary of finance report. Thank you. If you have any questions, please email our team at tia@tea.texas.gov.